Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are returning. Especially for those who have been long-standing subscribers. Some of these items may look familiar, especially this bowl was particularly part of my thumbnails and intro screen for quite a long time on my channel. If you're here looking for a reading today, today's not your day. It's been a day. I know I say that frequently, but you know, there's a particular subject that's been weighing on my mind for quite some time, and if you follow my personal Twitter account, you may have a hint about what today's video is about. By the title, you're probably a little bit curious, and I'm going to be upfront. I'm going to delay going over the exact subject for a few minutes, because it is a subject that may be considered not entirely ad friendly by YouTube. So I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna identify some of the crystals you see in front of you, just in case anybody is curious as to what they are. So, especially for those who are practitioners, many of you may already be able to identify some of these. Crystals, especially in magical practices, are often used in spiritual reasons. I often state on my channel that even though many of these crystals you can Google and find health benefits to them, I'm going to urge you to take the health benefits with a grain of salt. I love crystals. As you can see, I have many of them. And absolutely, I use them in my magical practice, but solely for metaphysical purposes, not for health purposes, which should give you a perhaps wee bit of a hint as to what today's subject will be. But I digress. Okay, identifying some of these crystals. This is angelite. It's very calming. It helps you get in touch with the upper realms. Polychrome jasper. It's very grounding. So while this one lifts you up, this one brings you back down. It's also one to help with your mood. It's been touted to make you happy or bring happy energy into a space. This bowl is selenite. Selenite is really good for cleansing stones and for charging them. And it's particularly well paired with this black stone in here called black tourmaline, which is really strong combination, especially when you're protecting your space. This is clear quartz, Herkimer diamond, which I also have right here, Icelandic spar, apophyllite, black kyanite. This is just an agate slice, and I think that's iolite. I think. You'll have to forgive me. I don't have all of them memorized. Here I have a black moonstone sphere. It's a little bit dusty. I need to clean it. Inside here are just a number of agates. Please forgive the background noise. And a couple of jaspers. My dog is in the room with me. Yeah, this is an agate. Yeah, there's a few random jaspers in there. Is this one carnelian? No. Moving right along. These are some chakra stones, like this is red jasper. I actually don't know what this one is, or this one. I think they're just agates. Same with that one. This one is likely sodalite. That's 5 of them. I don't know where the other 2 are at the moment. Forgive the chime candle holder. This is... There are 3 crystals like this. They're all man-made. This is green goldstone. There's a goldstone that is... Oh, there's another one. That is orange with gold flecks. You can see, if you look really close to it, it sparkles. It's because it almost has like glitter inside of it. And there's regular goldstone, there's green goldstone, and there's blue goldstone. All of these are man-made. Malachite, one that I've spoken about many times on my channel. One of my most disliked videos centers around that particular crystal. This stone and this stone are the same, and you'll have to forgive me. I don't remember the name of it. I know it begins with an L. If I can find it, I'll put it somewhere in here. This stone and this stone are the same, just different shapes, different colors. This is fluorite. Fluorite is known to come in many different colors. The purple fluorite most closely represents or mimics amethyst, but unlike amethyst, fluorite doesn't generally grow in a point. The reason why it is a point here is because it's been shaped into one. We have rose quartz, tiger iron. I have some clear quartz in both a point and just a regular tumbled piece. This is amber, which is actually tree sap that has been fossilized, and inside of this, I don't know if you can see it or not, it's a very small piece, is a bug. This is a crystal I wish I could identify. Lots of black tourmaline in here. Blue calcite, just a copper sphere. Fool's gold or pyrite. This is another jasper. I think this, oh, this is actually, I think this is purple fluorite. Orange aragonite. If you don't care about this part, I will put a timestamp down below, so you can fast forward to the juicy bits, which I will get to momentarily. Green calcite, this is celestite. Raw emerald. Rainbow moonstone. This is citrine, which is actually heat treated amethyst. Basically what they do is they unearth amethyst points from the earth. They take pieces of amethyst that may have a little bit too much white in them, or points that they probably think that they can't sell if they're in their natural state. They stick them in a kiln and heat them up to high temperatures to force the amethyst to turn into citrine. If you don't know much about amethyst and citrine, they tend to grow together underground, which is why you can often find jewelry with a stone called ametrine, which actually combines amethyst and citrine together. But I do have a piece of natural citrine up here. I just don't see it at the moment. But this is heat-treated amethyst that has been forced into citrine. And last but not least, we have Angel Aura Quartz. Now, any of the aura crystals, I know there's many of them. I mean, you can get aquamarine aura, any of those. What they have taken is the regular crystal, they have put them in a kiln, I believe, and exposed them to metal. Depending on the crystal, it also depends on the metal, if I recall. Some of the aura quartzes have been exposed to copper. I believe this one was exposed to titanium, and that's how it gets that colorful flash on the outside. But underneath that pretty exterior, it's still a quartz point underneath it. Okay? So now that I have spent a significant amount of time identifying crystals, and maybe, just maybe, I won't get myself demonetized if you've made it through this far, congratulations. Now, let me get right into the nitty-gritty of today's video. If you're especially new to the metaphysical field, paganism, anything of that nature, if you are learning about these kinds of things, you may stumble upon every so often in certain communities. They might advertise something that is a crystal sexual pleasure item, or you may have actually heard of something called a yoni egg. Both of these items are made from any wide array of crystals, most frequently rose quartz, clear quartz, fluorite, citrine in particular, but you can actually find these products made with other crystals like tiger's eye and sodalite and crystals that quite honestly should never be used for that purpose, especially because most crystals are toxic. They're usually safe in a hardened, solid state like this. I know another thing that has been done for a few years now is making crystal water, but you cannot just use any crystal to make crystal water. Some of them are water soluble. They might leach heavy metals when submerged in water, like malachite and tiger's iron. Malachite is pretty much solid copper. Selenite disintegrates in water. For those who have been watching my channel since the very beginning, a lot of this sounds redundant, and I apologize, but I'm just going over a refresher since my channel is much bigger now. Now, I'm sure some of you are like, okay, these crystals are mostly toxic, but things like quartz and things like amethyst, those things tend to be okay and safe to put in crystal water. Why on earth can't we shove them up our... Sorry. Why on earth can't we shove them up our vaginas? And I will tell you why. Oh God, things I never thought I would say on my channel. Okay. All of these crystals look extremely well polished, and most of them they all pretty much are. I mean, look at that sheen on it. But crystals are not something like glass or even plastic where it's formed in a mold and poured in a liquid state and becomes solid. Crystals, being the natural product that they are porous. And even the most well-polished, well-tumbled stones, while to the naked eye they may seem absolutely and completely polished and solid, when put under a microscope, you will find porous areas and imperfections that can mean that not only can the crystal absorb bodily fluids and become a breeding ground for growing bacteria, but because it can absorb those bodily fluids, especially because they are not water, regardless of what the crystal is, can actually compromise the crystal and cause it to start breaking down, depending on the composition, the chemical composition of the crystal. So over time, repeated use, all of that kind of stuff, no matter how well you wash these items, they will never be completely clean. So repeated use can open you up to getting infections. If the crystal starts breaking down in its chemical composition, like things like tiger's eye, tiger iron, which is essentially the same thing, it just has a higher iron content in it than tiger's eye. These things can, even in small doses, can break down and cause your body to start absorbing heavy metals within these crystals. They all look beautiful. They all look amazing. And I know especially if you're investing money in these things, want to get as much metaphysical oomph out of them as you can. But even though they're natural, it does not mean that they are safe to especially be used in such a way that you are consuming something that these crystals have been soaking in or inserting them into your body. Please, if you are looking for some sexual gratification, please stick to regular toys. Do not use ones that have been formed into genitalia and insert them inside of you. One, not just because they can become compromised with body fluid, become breeding grounds for bacteria, because again, as the crystals become compromised, little shards of the crystals can break off inside of you and be left behind and become embedded and cause you all sorts of issues. But also these things are also very hard. You can actually physically hurt yourself with these things. And yoni eggs, please, 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 I cannot say this enough. Please do not use them. There are plenty of Kegel exerciser type devices on the market that are going to be far and away much safer for your body, not only for sanitary reasons, because you can actually wash them and clean them well, but because they will also be made out of materials that are not going to potentially have real toxic effect to your body. Vaginal health is something that is really important, and unfortunately, women's health in particular is something that is very often neglected in our society in the United States. The pH of your vagina is a very, very fragile, balanced thing. And it doesn't take much to negatively impact it. And you can absolutely affect fertility with that. You can cause all sorts of issues for yourself. Please do not let these metaphysical companies sell you something or get you to use something that can seriously negatively impact your health. Before I even started recording this video, I googled yoni eggs, and I saw at least one company that was selling one that was tiger's eye, and another one that was selling one that was sodalite. These, please do your research. These crystals have heavy metals in them. They have really toxic aspects to them that you do not want being absorbed into your body. Okay? So I know this is not my normal video, but I felt it necessary to do a public safety announcement, because I know so many people look at these things and wonder how they may be beneficial, and I'm sorry to tell you, they're not. There are much safer and better ways to both gratify yourself and strengthen your pelvic floor than by using things that can potentially harm you in the long run, okay? So I hope you guys all stay safe and healthy. Please do not stick things in your orifices that do not belong there. God. And I will be back tomorrow, likely with a new reading, so if that is something that you are missing today, please forgive me. I just felt that this was something that was pretty important and weighing on my mind, and I felt really needed to be just addressed already. And where I would usually record something like this for my Patreon, this is one of those things where, because it impacts so many and I only have a few Patreons, I didn't feel that the word would necessarily get out in as wide a spread way as it needs to. Okay? So take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy, wear your masks, take care of each other, socially distance, be safe out there, and until next time, I wish you all the brightest of blessings, good health, protection, and blessed be.